My name is Lana Cassis from the M&M Boston University Questerham News Station with our segment tonight on management at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and the group behind the conclusions, the M&Ms. Members of this team are Avery Rashbin, Reese Bordick, Jerry Ding, Zenyang Luo, Michelle Quinn, and myself. Here's Jerry to give some background on BIDMC.
Okay, located in Brooklyn, Boston, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center is one of the largest hospitals in New England region. Under the Beth Israel DeHay Health Program, it not only cures people in need of treatment, but it also conducts medical research aiming for groundbreaking discoveries in cancer treatment and most recently COVID-19. Beth Israel is ranked as the best hospital by US and World Report, and it is recognized as most wired and most wireless hospital in the nation. It emphasized the importance of electronic medical records and advanced in health information technology. It focuses on on-site patient care and growing network with community both locally and online. It is expected to achieve its mission statement to improve the health of our community by providing exceptional professional healthcare with dignity, compassion, and respect. Back to Lana.
Great. After the break, we'll be interviewing some other members of the group on their findings from BIDMC. Welcome back. We're here with Reese, who's going to tell us a bit about communication at BIDMC. Can you briefly describe how communication flows at Beth Israel? Is it efficient?
Sure. So communication flows in a cascading manner at Beth Israel, where executives and VPs meet with each other initially at the beginning of the week to go over any relevant information that happened in the previous week and any important things that I need to go over for the next upcoming week. It is definitely the most efficient way to disperse information at the hospital, and it's best to do in a cascading manner because all relevant information goes vertically and it ends up into the entire workforce. And these executive VP meetings last about an hour at the beginning of the week, and then the departmental meetings last about 15 minutes to just briefly go over what they went over in the previous meeting. And managers like to keep an open line of communication with their employees, which is very essential to their success. And a common saying at Beth Israel is that no one likes to be surprised. So that keeping that open line of communication is very important.
How do you think communication can improve?
So there's many ways communication can improve. It's always evolving. There's always new technology and stuff like that. But communication specifically at Beth Israel can improve by allowing the employees to have more of a voice. And there's little time at Beth Israel for low-level workers such as nurses to give their voice and give their input and feedback to higher level employees. And it is actually proven that when staff is given that a lot of time for their input, it can boost their morale and be beneficial to mental health and increase overall company performance in the end.
Thank you for your findings. Next, we're going to go over to Michelle, who's going to tell us a bit more about the culture at BI. How does Beth Israel define itself culturally? What is its signature experience?
Beth Israel really focuses on communication, open communication, on collaboration and diversity in their workforce. And so these three themes really show up a lot in their culture. Beth Israel really want their employees to be able to fit in. And so they really make sure people feel passionate about giving care. They are communicating, they are willing to collaborate in their teams, and they're really inclusive. And so for people working at Beth Israel, they're really hoping that everyone feels welcomed and safe to communicate as well as willing to work in teams.
How do managers strengthen and support Beth Israel's culture?
As for diversity and inclusivity, hiring managers, they have their own diversity teams that actually talk about different cultures, and they actually work to link new employees to employees that are already there that maybe have similar backgrounds or similar cultures to help them feel more welcome, to help them feel more included. There's also language programs that is more towards people whose English is a second language, but there's also management programs for anyone in the hospital, which helps managers how to use leadership effectively and how to motivate their team properly. And lastly of all, managers also have a really loose hierarchical system in the hospital. And so this really encourages the employees and managers to talk to each other using first name basis. So it makes it more friendly, it makes it more open, and it improves communication.
Next, we're going to go over to Zhen Yang, who's going to tell us a bit about feedback at BI. How often do managers at the hospital give feedback to employees?
Annual performance meetings are standard at the company, and they give managers and employees the opportunity to give feedback to one another. In addition to these meetings, most managers at the hospital conduct individual meetings on either a biweekly or monthly basis. By giving ongoing feedback, managers ensure that there are no surprises during the annual performance meeting.
Does the hospital utilize feedback from its patients? How so?
Since patients are the hospital's first priority, their feedback is very important. As such, the hospital surveys patients across all their divisions. A hospital-wide goal is to achieve a certain percentage of highly satisfactory or 5 out of 5 ratings from these patient surveys, and that percentage varies depending on the division within the hospital. For example, Sam Skura, the Senior Vice President of the Ambulatory and Clinical Services at BI, strives for an 80% highly satisfactory rate, while divisions related to critical care are at a lower 70%.
What are some challenges you face when giving feedback, and how have you overcome these challenges?
Since it is difficult to predict how individuals respond, managers at BidMC use the plus delta model to improve the quality of their feedback. By starting with positive feedback, managers are able to erase some of the fear and surprise that negative feedback can incite. Additionally, the feedback should be specific and to the point. Pat Fulcherelli, VP of Healthcare at BI said, "The key when giving either positive or negative feedback is to not be vague. It is not enough simply to say what someone is doing wrong. You must provide specific actions or solutions so they know what part of their behavior to adjust."
Thanks for your findings. Next, we're going to go over to Avery, who's going to wrap this up for us. Avery, any last words?
When looking for a company, we wanted to research a company where each and every decision affected many lives. In our research, we have found out the main reason BI DMC is so effective in the work is because of the trust and values each member shares in each other. A quote that significantly describes this company is by Simon Sinek, that is, strong company culture will lead to employees feeling like family through creating values, and this is exactly what BIDMC does. Thank you, Lana.
After the break, we're going to bring back all the team members to tell us a bit about working as a team, some challenges they ran into, and tips they have for working in teams in the future. We're back with the M&Ms, reflecting on their journey to understanding management at Beth Israel. They're here to tell us a little more about what it was like working as a team. How did working as a team go?
Personally, overall, it was a great experience. I loved learning about my classmates in a different setting outside the classroom. We got to know each other pretty well. Working groups can also show a lot about a person and their qualities and their characteristics. And working in this group in particular was very amazing for me. Our team was very efficient in completing our assignments as well, and everyone always seemed to be on the same page, which was very good for completing tasks.
I agree with Reese's point that our team worked well overall and we learned a lot about each other. Our great communication skill allowed us to be more productive and we faced less conflict working as a team.
What were some strengths and weaknesses within the team?
I think one of our team's biggest strengths was our cohesiveness, and we had contributions across the board during team discussions and were able to bounce ideas off each other rather than having one person dominating the conversation. As for weaknesses, we could have more clearly defined roles for team assignments. In the future, we can fill in team members better when they are unable to make a meeting so they know what their tasks are.
Adding to Zhang Yang's point, I felt like one other strength was that team members were really open to feedback. When we had feedback sessions, everyone was willing to listen and take into consideration of what other team members had to say and work on improving for the next meeting. As for a weakness, I think there was a deficient decision-making process that wasn't as efficient as possible. Everyone did participate in making major decisions, but sometimes it was difficult to delegate tasks when no one had a preference and would step up to do a task.
How did going online affect working as a team?
Going online definitely brought a couple of challenges to our team. First of all, it was harder to communicate effectively because we were not able to meet in person and discuss things. And second of all, there was also time zone differences, so it was hard to find a time to meet that worked for everyone.
I definitely agree with Zhen Yang on that point. While it was definitely harder to communicate, in ways that was beneficial was because it was very direct. We did not have to find a common meeting place, which was a common struggle throughout the first half of the semester, to find a place that we could all meet. And then all we needed was our laptops now and an internet connection, and we're instantly all together. So it was a lot more efficient.
Can you provide some specific management actions or behaviors that would strengthen management and teamwork within this team and in some future teams?
Planning ahead and setting SMART goals will enhance several key aspects that we discussed in class. Planning will increase effort performance expectations by providing sufficient time and resources to complete tasks. Planning also applies to Dan Pink's theory on intrinsic motivation by giving individuals a higher sense of autonomy and purpose. Autonomy motivates us to think creatively, and purpose leads to each member to believe that they are working towards something larger and more important than themselves to help the group strive. Setting SMART goals will prevent procrastination by incentivizing higher productivity. For example, if we have a paper due, a short-term goal could be to finish the introduction and conclusion 2 weeks in advance. These intermediate goals serve as stepping stones towards a long-term goal, so we do not get overwhelmed by long-term assignments. As such, SMART goals set you up for success by pushing you further, giving you a sense of direction, and helping you organize and reach your goals. Additionally, setting SMART goals will prevent the issue of values mismatch, because individuals are more likely to care if there are predetermined deadlines and shared values. Avoiding motivation traps such as values mismatch are critical to team performance. Once a pattern or behavior is established, it is very difficult to get the team back on track. Implementing SMART goals and planning effectively will drastically help the team in the long run.
I think another management action would be to increase communication, specifically about answering group messages and group emails, not only when urgent. This would encourage team members to be more responsive and give quicker responses when there are messages or emails in the group chat. And I think this could really help allow for a more efficient decision-making process with the team goal in mind. In the case of the Everest simulation, we found that when everyone shared their personal goals, it helped the team compromise and develop a list of priorities to focus on. So when we did make decisions, we did it as a team with a common goal in mind, and this kept everyone on the same page. So decisions were all team-oriented and efficient with that team goal. And I think because of that, it really contributed to our success as a team that achieved the highest stimulation points in our class. And we kind of wanted to incorporate that success in our future team meetings, so increased communication would be a possible action. This can also help establish psychological safety, which we think is crucial for team success. With more team participation and communication, there's a positive feedback loop for more communication, so more communication leads to more communication. And if the team is more responsive and have quicker responses, I feel like team members would be more comfortable in communicating to the group what they feel, and because they feel the team is receptive to their ideas. And this could encourage more creative ideas and different perspectives that they bring to the table, which is how we overcame our asthma challenge in the Everest simulation. And we believe that this could really aid in future high performance.
Lastly but not least, constructive feedback is crucial for future improvements. At the end of the meeting, we provide feedback to our team and any suggestions to improve on our discussion or task completion. So in the next meeting, we can be more efficient. We can follow the feedback process. We start with setting up expectations for group members and use SMART goals to support our visions. We then evaluate performance of each team members and determine if they meet the expectations. Thirdly, we provide feedback to the team. We can apply the plus delta model to measure our performance and provide opinion for future references. Where in the plus model, we ask each other what the team did do well and what we should repeat in the future. On the other hand, we recognize our problems through the delta model and provide a solution for change. And lastly, we can implement reward and consequences into the process. In order to achieve our goal in the future, we need to build constructive feedback and provide detailed and specific examples for the team to follow.
Thank you so much for your time, team. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope everyone stays safe during these times of coronavirus. We'll be back tomorrow night for our segment on Tiger King.